welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, Steam has thrown down the mother of all ban hammers, but we're going to have to ask why, and Vulkan has come to the Hitman, but Feral would actually rather you kind of ignore it.
Take a shit on the floor. It's time to get ASCII today. And it's a game where the game is program a bot to play the game. Wait, what?
Flying Gorilla Limbs. We have a new band name. PS3 gets the Vulkans. But Dumb Code of the Month goes to... who?
I'm Ben Stone here at LGC Actual, switching the bits, doing the Nightmare Fuel as always. With nothing but Linux on all ends. It's kind of brilliant. It's another great evening for Linux, everyone. Joined every week by our Toronto Bureau Chief. That's one Master Sveg.
Hail Stem.
And all the way from Space Australia.
El Pedro.
That's right. That is one Michael Fox, because unfortunately we had to upgrade Pedro's what do we have? The Mark 7 language pack, since he's in the process of moving to the UK. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, beautiful people, we like to see what's going on in each other's life organs. Not a lot here. I bought something with Bitcoin. I got a charger, and it showed up using Purse.io thanks to Inertia, because Inertia sent us some like micro BTC a while back, and he's like, buy something through Purse.io, try it out, and I did. This showed up. It's great. It does the job for 18650s and AA's, AAA's, nickel metal hydride and all that. That's kind of cool. We'll be using that. We have a couple of quid in Bitcoin, so we'll be ordering some things through that. What's up, J-Baby?
Yeah, I got no fancy battery news. Not much went on this week. I had a stat holiday on Monday. So I was woefully unproductive, and that was kind of nice. But now we're back, and I got to deal with this asshole. Come on, asshole, tell us what you did this week.
Well, I was having a lovely week until Friday morning. I'm going to get a call from Van saying, do you want to be Pedro for a week? All right, sure, let's go. And so
I can't believe you actually said yes to that.
Nothing pretty much all week. So just getting ready for the show, so thanks, Phil.
All right. Okay. Well, something that is in a constant state of readiness, everyone, is the horse. So,
the horse has a brand new deck that it wants to show off. We're going to sit down and listen to its PowerPoint. It's the Steam Linux
Update.
All right.
Whoa,
so the original link in this story was from like some Chinese forum that I could not understand. But fortunately, PC Gamer has a little bit of a translation, and the Chinese forum was, I realized very quickly, oh, these subtitle things have the same number of bullet points as the slides. They're probably just translating what's going on. So there was a bit of a presentation going on at Indigo 2017 about some new changes coming to the Steam client. They're saying there's going to be a giant UI refresh. There's going to be, they've been talking about their new discovery systems, and they're probably going to roll these out. And the one interesting thing is apparently they're going to be partnering with a lot of actual human reviewers and influencers and whatnot to promote games and use their curation system. So I'm curious, what kind of arrangement is this going to be? Because are we going to start seeing a lot more paid considerations from the likes of your Total Biscuits and your Pedro's Man Crushes and whoever else is out there? I mean, you can rely on us to take the advertisers' money and then not do what they say because we're jerks like that. But not everyone else has that sort of modus operandi. What do you think, Voxy?
People trying to curate games saying, oh yeah, this game is good, this game is not, is always going to be open to corruption or the wallet and all this. So I would much rather just stop it, just leave it with the review system as it is and not try to complicate things saying, oh, this person said it. I don't give a shit if he said it or not. Is the game good or not? That's all I want to know.
Well, I mean, you're talking about stuff here in the show notes, man. What do you mean, Western Europe or...
Well, one of the graphs there that said where all the games come from, and one of them said was Western Europe, sorry. It was Western Europe, and there was nowhere on there saying Eastern Europe. So, like, Poland doesn't exist, Deutschland doesn't exist, or...
Yeah, no, it's all fictitious. It's like that map at the end of Lord of the Rings, Foxy. It's not actually real. You can't just go to Mordor.
But another thing is all these things. I've been wondering why I've been getting hardware surveys like lately as well, because I've been getting I think last week I got 3 in a row. So is it because of this or was it something else?
Were you sure to fill them out on your Windows partition?
No, I was on my Linux all this time.
All right. Let's talk about this. This is coming from steamdatabase.info. You need to check that out. Like everything else in our show notes. This is just showing bans per day, and the range currently right now is from June 8th up to... July 6th. Yeah. We go from an average of, what do you want to say, about 3,000, somewhere in there, until you get to July 6th, where it goes to a small 40,393 ban hammers thrown down in a single day. I do gotta say, man, I mean, I think this is probably the highest that we've ever seen in the history of Steam, or since it was being tracked, and it was kind of nice to them to wait until after the sale was finished and everyone was done buying their games to say, all right, now everyone's banned from all this. And what I'm genuinely looking forward to, lads, is on our Steam, it was my brother that was logged into my account, and here's a letter from my father that he typed in my Reddit post. See, my dad typed that, and it proves that it was my brother, guys, and because that's totally happened before.
No, I'm expecting the crayon writ letter with that has a photo taken of it, scanned and then uploaded onto Imgur, which they add to the Reddit post. But I mean, that's a fairly high spike. I don't think I know that there's a lot of cheaters out there, but I didn't really think there are that many. So unless Valve is gonna release a blog post, we're never really gonna know the true reason why. So it's time to fire up the wheel of Booga Booga and go full Alex Jones on this. Come on, Ben, what's your outlandish theory? Let's do it.
It's making the frogs gay. What's up?
Well, 40,000 in one day, that's huge. I got, okay, that's a lot of bots. Then a thought just occurred. Well, are these all the keys for G2A or something like that? Could they be all these shitty keys that are popping around? I don't know.
It's possible, but I mean, these are VAC bans, so ostensibly they happen because they've been triggering the anti-cheat system.
Right.
Yeah, was
it just
sensitivity of the bot
cleaning house in free-to-play games like Dota and Team Fortress, maybe?
It's possible.
Well, maybe it's just the VAC ban thing's just gone weird, essentially. It's just, I don't know, maybe it pulled a Google on it? I don't know. But that is a huge amount in one day. You just can't get around that.
Yeah, you can see Casey said in chat realms, it does cheaters buy extra copies, but yeah, I mean, this is an unprecedented spike. This is astronomical. So, hopefully we'll find out exactly what happened. Who put this in the notes?
Chicken and rice. A rice chicken.
BillyWitchDoctor.com. Counter-Strike mod creates a chicken fighting game. Yeah, all right.
It's Tekken, but with cocks.
One of the weirder updates to be developed by the game's community. A new mod will see Counter-Strike global offensive players putting away the guns in order to do battle as a chicken. Oh man, please somebody send this to Pete. A Tekken-based parody where users will compete in 1v1 with other really?
Bok.
All I gotta say to this is just, oh, cock.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, we should really wait to wait and see if this mod gets some traction before we report any further. Otherwise, this will just be a clear case of counting chickens before they hatch. I mean, the source engine is pretty flexible. You can make a lot of stuff in there, but yeah, making a Tekken Counter-Strike chicken fighting mod seems kind of out there.
To me, it seems like they're being intentionally inflammatory towards PETA.
Well, I'd say it's a PETA-friendly one, really, because then, well, you're not hurting real chickens, so they don't really give a shit.
You drastically underestimate Peter's ability.
Hey, I'm
give a
Australian.
shit.
They don't exist here.
They were trying to like take down Pokemon with the fake animals that don't exist in the real worlds. Like they're full on.
I guess that would be interesting. What if we replaced it with like real cocks, like floppy ones?
Oh,
yeah. There's a game already like that.
What was it?
It's the one where you can literally go fuck yourself in the butt.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that. Anyway, would not surprise me to see this pulled in 3-2 before the show even gets out. So unless you're watching it live, you might want to yoink early. But I guess we got a patch for the Rocket Leagues, Foxy. Tell me about it. I only play it on Saturday nights.
Well, according to the patch notes, it was it's quite substantial, actually. Like, you got the headlines, you got, what is this? The Champions Field is now available. You can get new audio for your engine, goal explosions, so you get pretties, and more trails. And got new crates, of course, and some other stuff. But there's a lot of Rick and Morty stuff. Rick and Morty,
that Mr. Meeseeks looks like he's taking a shit.
Yeah, it kind of does.
That was my very first thought.
Existence is pain, man.
But there was
so is this kidney stone. God damn it.
So is a low fiber diet, kids.
Metamucil.
Way down the bottom.
Hashtag not sponsored, but Metamucil give us money because we're all full of shit anyways.
But there's one huge thing down the bottom though, which is car standardization changes. All the cars are now been adjusted for their hitboxes, so they're all the same, a bit better. So, and their handling. So I think you've gone down a bit too far.
Wait. So you're saying all the hitboxes on the cars are just completely the same now?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That kind of makes me happy. I forget who it was because somebody had written us hate mail. It was like, Rocket League is pay to win.
Yeah.
Because apparently the hitbox in the Batmobile was different or something. Explain it to me. You have like a bazillion hours in this.
Well, the Batman car was like really super low, but very wide, so it looked like a plank, essentially. They even name it here. Plank. Either Batmobile, the Mantis, Paladin, Twin Mill, whatever that thing is. So basically it just made it harder to hit you, or it's just bigger to hit the ball or stuff like that. I don't know, these people are weird. Compared to like the van, which is a big car, you'd think they'd have a bigger hitbox. But they don't. They're all got the same.
All right. I have no opinion on this one way or the other because, again, much like Ben, I play Rocket League on Saturday nights. And the odd time I go to someone's house, they're like, let's play Rocket League. And I'm slightly better than most of the people there because I play it regularly. Slightly. I hit the ball more than they do. But apparently there's a competitive season. Oh, who the fuck cares about that? There's Hitman!
Hey, man, the original video that was posted, it's linked in the show notes. It's been taken down. It's made private, and it's also unlisted or whatever. But what happened earlier this week is someone discovered, if you dig around in the prefs file for Hitman, and you change, you actually add a value name, use Vulkan, with integer 1 on it, it will launch with an experimental Vulkan render to Feral. Was kind of quick saying, whoa, oops, you weren't supposed to find that out. And, well, guess what? They did. It is very much experimental, I mean, it works, air quotes all around it, but I see why they didn't make it public like they've done with Warhammer or Mad Max. Because, I tested it here with a 980, with 8150, with 8 available threads, only seeing about 45% GPU utilization with this, and it is a massive stutter fest. This looks like they were, it's completely, never intended for public. They wanted to see if they could get the Glacier engine, a Vulkan render, into it. And they're like, okay, step 1, maybe we'll come back to that later. Which is good to see him touching on games like this. I'd like to see it on Deus Ex, possibly. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't think Vulkan is going to help any of Deus Ex's performance issues. I feel that game is fundamentally screwed at the base level. But I mean, it's nice to see that they're adding some progress. I'm interested in seeing once they actually get this Vulkan cross-compiling, transpiling, whatever the hell they're doing, shit down, to see some ports that are actually released from Genesis with the Vulkan support that's not quote-unquote experimental, like they did with Warhammer. Yeah, because considering they're probably not actually doing any native Vulkan developments, they're using some sort of tool that it can only get better-ish. I mean, Indirect X kind of varied in performance, so I think we're going to see something very, very similar.
Well, what do you think about this, man? I mean, because people have brought up, this is like Vulkan working with the shim that is, and I don't say shim in a bad way, that is Indirect X. You know, it's not...
Yeah, because Hitman has a native DX12 renderer too, so this may be like some sort of transcoding, transpiling thing.
And I'm going to save everyone at home right quick, because my first thought was like, I wonder if this works for Shadows of Mordor. I was like, let's do another 40 gigabyte download, which I did. And man, you think 8 megabytes a second's a decent connection till you're downloading 40 gigajoules, man. Downloaded that, threw that flag in, save yourself time, doesn't work. What were you saying?
Oh, what was I saying? Well, you can see in the video that there was right next to the Vulkan, you got D through to 11 there.
Well, that's Indirect X.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the indirect that it's actually targeting. So, is it trying to translate DirectX commands into Vulkan, or
we don't know?
Yeah, it's magical black box.
Yeah. Well, when I watched that video, I did notice that the CPU the utilization it used didn't stick at 100% all the time. So what I'm saying is it's only using what it needs to use at that point. So it's not trying to strain itself so much.
Well, and that one thing that's interesting to that point is Vulkan usually results in lower CPU utilization because you can spread it across multiple cores.
Yeah.
Right, but you definitely see things like better GPU utilization. That's something you're not seeing in this. And again, this isn't even beta. This wasn't supposed to be really out for the public to play around with. And with the 980, again, I never saw it really get above 45 in complex scenes. And that's all well and good, but if it's not chugging, which it was chugging quite a bit.
Yeah. If you didn't have the stutter, and maybe it needs to use a little bit more on the GPU to get rid of the stutter, but maybe it just doesn't need to use all the GPU now. Just uses what it needs. So it's kind of got like a target frame rate it's trying to hit, and only using enough to hit that.
It's possible. Until we get a feral dev on here, we'll never actually know. But it is the jungle out there, Foxy. Why don't you tell us about your trip to the zoo?
Well, this is Zoicide, where come to us from the makers of, what was it? Who's Your Daddy? Yeah?
Linux ports out for
who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, I watched a YouTube video on this earlier today, and it's PvP in a zoo with dismembered body parts going everywhere. Janky as
so basically, someone tried to make Goat Simulator a fighting game.
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much.
Huh.
But it's got kangaroos. That's a plus. It has to be.
I mean, Foxy, you're impressed with anything that has a kangaroo in it.
A casual team-based multiplayer game featuring animals fighting. Yeah, that's basically it. Currently $4.99, and you guessed it, it's early access. Guarantee you it's Unity. The operating system is Linux, so it only requires a kernel. Most distros should work 2 gigahertz, 4 gigajoules of RAM. And I don't know, man. The only thing that kind of has me going, maybe, is it has online multiplayer, so it could be something to play around with in the after show.
It could be. This company, Evil Tortilla, their whole bread and butter seems to be making like really, really janky games with some interesting core concepts. Because like, Who's Your Daddy has a really, really brilliant asymmetrical gameplay like idea behind it, where the baby's trying to kill himself and the daddy's trying to stop him from murdering himself. So I mean, Who's Your Daddy looked pretty fun. Hopefully they can funnel the jank into a compelling gameplay experience, Because what we saw a lot with Goat Simulator, it's like, aha, yeah, the joke is that it runs like shit. Right, but I'm trying to do the funny shit, and I can't because the game runs like shit.
Yeah. Foxy?
Well, looks like a lot of fun, and especially what I saw in the videos was when people are losing their legs, their arms, and stuff like that, they're still able to run and move in a somewhat convincing, janky way. So it's not like you cut someone's leg off, then you're suddenly crawling around like Ben and Ed, but you're still hopping at least. So,
all right, well, I mean, it is kind of
fun.
priced to sell. Maybe we'll pick up a few copies to play with. Up next.
Oh yeah, it's hairy little buggers. So, if you played Dwarf Fortress, you know what this game is about, because in essence, it is Dwarf Fortress, where you can shit on the floor and all your dwarves are disgusting little dwarves that go do gross shit. It's $17 Canadian. I don't know
$14.99 freedom units.
15 freedom units. But yeah, it is essentially Dwarf Fortress, but with toilet humor. If this is up your alley, it may be something that you want to check out. It requires the glib COS, so I'm gonna guess this is either monogame or FNA. So most things should work on it. I don't really know much else because I've never really played Dwarf Fortress because it seems like something that is a waste of time. And if you're into it, it's a fantastic waste of time. But for me, not so much. What about you guys? You played Dwarf Fortress at all, Foxy?
No, not really. I kind of scrolled down with this. I was like, oh, look, Hipster Pixel. I was absolutely not interested. And it's like, how much this thing? 15 what stinky caches? Yeah, nope.
No, not for 15, but it looks like kind of like Populous or something like that, where you're not directly controlling the people. But it does have a lot of toilet humor, and I think I saw a dwarf in a dress there somewhere. So if that's your thing,
I mean, lady dwarfs have beards, man. That's science facts. You could be one for all we know. But that's maybe a little chilly, maybe a little cold. We should move on to the next thing. Frozen Synapse 2. It's a turn-based strategy game where both sides like stage their turns at the same time, and then they clash, and you see who comes out the better. I never really played much of the first one, even though it came with a bundle years ago. But this one entirely has a bunch of new mechanics. Basically, there's an entire world that's been procedurally generated. You can like go into random buildings and sort of make your own fun. And it's more turn-based strategy stuff. It actually looks like something I might check out because it seems pretty interesting. I have the original Frozen Synapse, so maybe I should screw around with that before the game comes out. Yeah, do you guys have any thoughts?
Well, operating system requirement is most definitely kernel 3.1 or higher. Frozen Synapse, I enjoyed it. It was one of the first Unity games that we saw in Linux. Believe it or not, way back when. And I remember giving that a look. It wasn't my cup of chainsaw by any means, but yeah, I mean, it could be fun. Did you have any experiences with it?
I haven't had any experiences with Frozen Synapses, but I've heard that the first one was really good and really well made and stuff like that. But I'm watching these videos and I see that you actually plan out the actual paths that your people will take. And you can say, this person does this, then a couple seconds later, this other person does this. So you can do full-on, like as Maddie says in the chat, full-on Rainbow Six game based on turn-based stuff where you're not actually controlling the soldiers. You're just saying, do this at this time and go for it.
Well, Pizza, you could have, I might have been thinking of Cube Men. But I am curious, what was the original?
Yeah, it's the Torque engine.
That's it. All right.
Oh, Torque. Right.
Torque 3D. We've all tried to forget about that. Flag Explosion. Someone put this in here for, I don't know, why.
I saw it on this.
I was looking through this. I don't know any of these fucking flags, man.
No, neither do I. I'm going, but the thought occurred to me, there's this one of those games that got automatically accepted from Greenlight when it shut down. Going,
I mean, in all fairness, this is educational, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it is educational.
You're listening on the audio version, of course. Flag Explosion is exactly what you might think it is. It's a flag identifying endless quizzer with over 600 current flags from around the world, 100 training levels of practice mode. and an endless mode. Currently $2.99. Wet Stinky Caches, and
It could be decent after show bait.
man, yeah, I was losing horribly, repetitively.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be good for kids. I don't know.
What's it doing on Steam? That's something that should be sold separately or something like that, not on Steam itself. This is more like something you find off, what was it, Newgrounds or something like that, not Steam.
Have you looked at Steam games lately, the newest releases?
Yeah, I know. Yes,
and there are
I tend to
literally
ignore
games
them, but
that started on Newgrounds that are currently on Steam, Foxy. Like,
yes, I know, but I don't know. This looks like something that should be sold to schools, not on Steam. Really?
well, just make sure that when you're looking for this game, you don't forget the L. Coming up next, AMD has some new driver support in the latest kernel. And we talk about some low-level emulation for PlayStation 3, because soon we'll be able to play Dark Souls on Linux natively, sort of, kind of, not really.
Welcome back to the news. But before we get into that, in Pedro's absence, we like to thank everyone, Jordan. We would like to thank the beautiful party people that help make this show possible, that keep us from reading a bazillion ads, because this is entirely crowdfunded, and with their support and their power combined, we're able to form our special little Cocaine Voltron as it is, man. It's quite brilliant. We
right.
enjoy it.
It's true, because instead of a billion ad reads, you get about 2 minutes of us just prostrating ourselves to you. You can head on over to LinuxGameCast.com, click that support the shows button. Oh yeah, we're buy some fancy new webcams. Why not? There's an Amazon wish list there. I think we already got the new webcam though. You can also buy some stuff, buy yourself a fancy new webcam, and give us a cut through the Amazon affiliate links. We've got some PayPal donato buttons, some Bitcoins, which a Bitcoin QR code, which we use to purchase some things to enable Ven's vaping habit. And yeah, you can also check us out at patreon.com/LinuxGameCast. The best way to help us support this nonsense. 107 of you are donating $188 an episode. That's pretty great. We got some lovely backer levels for you. You can get some access to simple stuff like a custom RSS feed with Doctor Who commentary tracks, what we record before we go live, which is kind of mental sometimes. This week, not so much, but, you know, it happens.
Hey, man, you did a fun show with Sandman. You rocked
Oh,
in.
yeah, no, we do bi-weekly streams. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but yeah, me and Sandy, we're going through Darkest Dungeon, The Crimson Courts. Watch us die horribly. Pedro is occasionally playing some Hyperlight Drifter, some Neverwinter Nights, or whatever game he's into these days. I don't know. But that's all enabled thanks to you lot who are giving us money to enable us to do all this crazy shit. We got to give special thanks to Peter Adams and Dan Testerman, who both contributed and updated their pledge. Thank everyone who's using the Amazon affiliate links, because it doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us the hell out. And, you know, if you share the show, that's great too. If you don't want to give us money, you can at least boost the signal and encourage other people.
Yeah, boosting that signal is so wicked important, and it's really cool. I mean, I absolutely want to throw a bit of love in the direction of Chi, Dean, and Matt Hartley, because I know every single Sunday I pay attention to where I can, and I always see that they're sharing it. And it's a good way to show people stuff they've never seen. That's how I find out about, shows, when people repost and all that fun stuff. And considering we have no advertising budget. And yeah, that's cool. I want to thank anyone who picks us up something on that wish list, stuff we're going to buy anyway. But if you want to get that cheat mode in, Frank here. Isn't that right, Frank? You end up on the fine, upstanding cannibal wall. It's kind of brilliant. Thank you so much. Foxy, thank you, sir. Because you're also a patron.
No worries.
Living proof you can, in fact, buy your way on this show. But
it's true.
Coming up first, 4.12, it's a kernel. What does this have to do with gaming?
It has to do with Vincent Vega, our favorite person who gets shot to death in Pulp Fiction. Well, they have the 4.12 release patch has been cut. It's out. You can download it from kernel.org. And one of the big things from the final patch was a bunch of header files for AMD Vega card supports. They also had some Intel image processing unit stuff. Those were the two big drivers that made up about 50% of this patch. There's a bunch of other random fixes in here. You probably want to go to the Wednesday show if you want us to hear people talk about kernel stuff. But that is the big news, is if you are planning on buying a Vega card because you want to run a lot of monitors off the 12 gigs of VRAM, good for you. It's going to be really disappointing for everyone else who wants to say, play games or mine bitcoins or...
Well, that could be a thing. I mean, saying support, this is like 85% of this recent influx was just the header files. A lot sooner. I wasn't expecting this until about 2035, to be perfectly honest with you.
That's NVIDIA then.
Yeah, man. Good progress, man. Good progress. Good on AMD's part or the open source development team. I know that's grown over at AMD. Unfortunately, it's for Vega, and Foxy, it doesn't look like things are looking so hot for that particular chipset.
Not at all. Even I don't know what it is right now, so it's something? Well, at least it's something from AMD at the very least, which historically means that AMD might be pulling the thumb out of their ass, maybe? I don't know.
I think it's a little too wedged in there to be pulled out, but they can at least start the extraction process. It's like the finger traps. You got to move really, really slowly to get it apart. But anyways,
a little bit of lube will help.
Speaking of extra performance games using a big ass GPU, RPCS3, that mental project that they're they're starting up to emulate a Gen 6 console. This is the PlayStation 3 emulator. They have a brand new release coming out. They added a bunch of low-level emulation stuff that's supposed to improve performance rather significantly. But because this is LinuxGameCast, and this is the Vulkan news section of the show, we gotta talk about Vulkan. It is now enabled by default on Linuxes. Before, you could just use the OpenGL backend. So I have yet to pull and build this to test out some of the games, but they've made quite a bit of good progress. They have a bunch of games now that are straight up loadable. You can actually start them up. There was one engine, which I forget, because it's in there. Fuck. I'm having a brain fart. A bunch of games written on the same engine. Now they all work because of a specific fix, which is really, really cool. This project is moving forward really, really quickly. And given the complexity of emulating a relatively complex console with multiple processor chips like the PlayStation 3, the fact that you're getting playable games at any point is impressive.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing, man. I mean, emulating the cell architecture and the progress is kind of mind-boggling when you sit back and think about it. One thing we did mention on that Wednesday show that we do, Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, go check that out, is one, they do say that parity with performance, especially with Vulkan and Windows, Linux and Windows, neck and neck. I mean, one's not faster or slower than the other, and that's good to see that. And they've just swapped out, they've gotten rid of, I think it was WX widgets, and replaced it with Qt. So, or Qt, however you want to do it, which I guess is progress in its own way.
What do you think about that, Cutie?
Well, I do enjoy the Qt very much, and especially for cross-platform development. But they got Dante's Inferno to work, so I'm done. I'll see you all later. But before that, we've got to go give credit to who wrote this little bit of code here, which is absolutely stupid.
Yes. Right. So what I was talking about before, this game engine, apparently if your console does not support a refresh rate of 59.94 frames a second, the games will not start up. You cannot have 1080 at 60 using RPCS3. The best you could do is 1080 at 59.94. It's kind of brilliant.
Well, what is this, NTSC or something? Or what the fuck? Come on. But that is absolutely stupid. What the fuck is 59.94 frames per second? What? Is that some sort of anti-piracy thing? What is it?
No, it's coding specifically for a console. That is exactly what that is.
All right. But should at least put, if it's got used standard dummy values, they would have found it earlier. They had like a fix me or something like that at the front. which most compilers pick up, say, whoop, there's something here. So, yeah, bad code design on that part, I'd say. Not commenting properly on your code.
Yes. Right. It was the Team Ninja engine. So, it's the Koei Tecmo. So the stuff for Dead or Alive, boob physics. There you go. You don't get boob physics at 1080 60. But I think I'm in love on a Friday then.
I don't know, man. Maybe you're going to regoth everything. An open source re-implementation of the Z engine used by the game Gothic. Guess what? No one asked for it. No one wanted it, but it's here. I'm just kidding. Yeah, man. For Gothic and Gothic 2, kind of excited about this. I don't know, man. I never played the games, but you don't need much to build this business. You know, GCC, Mini GW, Visual Studio, though. But there's the Linux version. That's right. Oh, J4, come on. J8, all the things. And
if you're on Ryzen, it's J16.
Oh, man. Soon. Did any of you play the
No. This is one of these games that I always saw in, like, Radio Shack, but I never picked it up.
Huh. We're looking at the video right now. I mean, yeah, it's definitely like old school, think Quake, the original Quake images, well, 3D, but I don't know. I mean, I might give it. Can you get Gothic on GOG?
I think so, yeah. Well, let's look this up really quickly. GOG. I can't type. GOG, Gothic. There you go.
Come on, quickly.
Gothic on GOG. You can grab the game itself for about $13. So if you want to check out this engine re-implementation, it'll cost you a little bit, but it's not the worst. I mean, you could probably find a CD copy of this game at like a used bookstore for like $2 if you feel like dumpster diving that. But you know, speaking of programming and programming things for the sake of programming things, this is Bot Wars. So this is interesting because the game itself is just a server with a JSON API where it's turn-based strategy. You get people to collect resources and you use it to build more guys. And much like Cookie Clicker, I think this is actually sort of the natural evolution of the Cookie Clicker-esque stuff where you actually have to write your own interface. You can use the API to create a bot or some sort of UI that you can use. I don't think you're going to find a lot of people who are doing it, but this is that sort of thing that resonates with that 0.001% of people who are going to be total diehards about this.
So, I program my guys to fight, and they program their guys to fight, and they fuck around and get onto it whenever they feel like it, or what?
Yes, let them fight, as Mr. Watanabe says. And Bryan Cranston versus Godzilla.
Well, from what I can tell, you don't even need a UI. You just write a shell script, essentially, that says, hey, just run this little program, some little AI going, okay, do this.
If you need to play your game using curl, though, I feel that you failed at something.
Oh, come on, man. It could be like if Dick's out for Harambe, and it'll be great. It'll be brilliant. That's the thing. I just wanted to give it a shout because I was like, what the fuck all's this? All right, that's weird. Actually, more importantly, it's unique. So, yeah.
Well, I'm just really sad. I'm still sad about Harambe, you guys.
Oh, too soon, man. Too soon.
Two spoon.
Woo,
right, let's put a bow on it.
So, BitShift. It's a thing. All this in our show notes. Trains and Things, aptly named. Build a logistics company from the ground up using trains, planes, and automobiles. Strange movie. In this real time, multiplayer economic. All right, is this Sims for psychopaths? Is that what we're looking for?
It's a game for boring people. Also, I miss John Candy. But it's written in Godot, so we got to give some Godot love because it's a great little engine. More people who are using it, the better, because it's fully open source.
And cross-platform multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Built on Godot, they tried on Unity in their last project, Dogfight, but it was severely limited, so they moved to UE4. Had its own problems. So, hey, man, that's a good plug for the engine. What's this Godot thing? I've never heard of it.
Godot is currently the leading open source game engine at this point, and huge community and just really, really good game engine with very good design behind it. And I absolutely love that engine. I love other things.
Did Godot finally unseat IO Quake 3 for the most number of games written in that engine?
Well, actually, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. Known by the commit logs and actual usage in the forums, and even going through itch.io, just look for Godot and you find a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, this is a day that will live in infamy because we're doing a chairquisition with an Australian, and we're throwing chairs that day of infamy. Whoa! We are throwing chairs at Day of Infamy because we're super, super infamous being Q-list internet celebrities and all. It's developed on the New World, or it's developed by New World Interactive on the Source Engine. If you launch the game and check PAVQ control, it shows up as Portal 2. What's that about? We'll find out. You can pick it up for around $26.98 of your local currency, I guess. What is it? The creators of Insurgency present the next installment of their successful FPS platform with Day of Infamy, featuring tactical close quarters World War II combat across a wide range of multiplayer and co-op scenarios. These guys did send us some keys, so we're throwing some chairs back out their direction. So let's kick off the chairquisition. 1 chair means that's garbage, 2 chairs means meh, 3 chairs means pretty good, 4 chairs means it's awesome sauce, and we got our categories that Doom makes with the working, shiny, sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick this off. Did it make it with the working, bud?
Hey, man, technically it did run for the most part, so I can't really knock it too much for that. Over here on the Ubuntu 1604 LTS box of business, powered by a 980, well, and an 8150, displayed at UHD, but I didn't bother with this game, because my first question that came to my little brain organ was, how did you make something using the Source Engine run so poorly? I mean, this thing... it's kind of borderline fugly. I mean, we're talking Wolfenstein enemy territory level. Great game, available for Linux, still runs. And I've actually seen this critter touch 30 FERPs a few times, just running it at 1080p. Now, the same box, I can run Half-Life 2 at 3840 by 2160. Never, and I do mean never, see it drop below 100. Now, performance aside, had a few random crashes, came to the desktop once or twice. Nothing that was completely inexcusable. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm not going to ding you a chair for that. I will, however, knock you a chair for those fuck-mothering load times, Brad. Wow. Yes, that business is only being done on a single thread for some bizarre moon reason. I mean... you're talking about a game built on the Source Engine, and the load times in this make Deus Ex load times seem reasonable. So, gonna have to throw you a 3.
Oh, yeah, there be some bugs here, and that load time is... oh, it's load time. This is get up, go take a piss, come back, and then you're in the middle of the match load times. But no real issues so far on Fedora 2464-bit with the i7-6700K and the GTX 980. I did get one crash where when I alt-tabbed out of it, it just completely fucking borked. And I had to go kill it. There's also some weird texture issues where sometimes the trees will get all racist. It's kind of blinding. It's a little weird. But for the most part, it runs about as well as you expect a Source game to run under Linux, so 3 chairs.
Well, over here on on the i7-4790 on a GTX 950 running OpenSUSE 42.2. No issues. It's running OpenGL. No issues with that. However, I did have a small crash initially when it dropped out, then suddenly came back, but Steam didn't see it, and so I was playing for about an hour and Steam did not see it. So there's that. But fuck me dead, holy load times, Batman. Jesus, started up, I'm going, are you working? Even at one point I was under GNOME, and GNOME was saying, hang on, is this program even running? Do you want to kill it? No, just wait. But I've got to give them bonus points. They have dedicated Australian servers, not Oceania, not Asia, fucking Sydney. So, got to give them bonus points for that.
How many
So you would give it...
I would give it 3 chairs.
There we go.
Oh, well, that's
You-
3 chairs for mixed with the working. My joke fell flat. Shiny sounds, Ven. Tell us about it.
Hey man, it looked like a game built with a Source engine, and by that, I mean it looks like something straight out of 2004. Like I said, borderline fugly, but, again, it's not arse ugly. It's not lazily done. Some works went into this. But it looks wicked dated just because of the engine. There's not a lot you can do, and wicked dated is wicked dated. That's what it looks like. You're looking at the video. The audio listeners, think an easy way to describe it would be enemy territory if they had which they probably do, a high-res texture pack or something like that. Or a really poorly done Half-Life 2 mod, which we've all seen. Maybe a Half-Life 1 mod. Sound-wise, the guns go boom. The guns go boom, show title. But that's about it. There's really nothing to report. It, wholly unimpressive anywhere. I mean, you got the environments, you could be indoor, outdoor, World War II, so sometimes you're in the forest, sometimes you're in a little city area, but yeah. See, I'm trying to be nice, too.
Yeah, I mean, Foxy discovered that the Canadians in this game are all possessed by the void spirit Armnagach, and as such have super demonic powers. Other than that, it looks like a generic Source 2 World War II mod. I mean, if you play Day of Defeat Source, it's very, very similar. Sound-wise, they got some generic trumpety war themed music in the menus, and everything else in the game is actually what's happening. Foxy will get into that a little more in-depth. But the sound palette is just kind of there. There's nothing really that will make you go, wow. It's competently done, but that's about the nicest thing I can say for it. Considering, again, this is a 15-year-old engine coming up on. So, I gotta give it 2 for that. It's okay. It's passable. It's acceptable, but that's no more, no less.
Well, it's certainly not going to win any awards for the shinies, that's for sure. And I had this really weird glitch that my eyes disappeared in the model screen, where they just turn out to be completely white.
Mm-hmm.
However, this might have been by design, all this simplicity, because on my machine I was getting roughly, 150 frames per second, if Steam is to be believed, with ×2 anti-aliasing, no problem. But this game is more of sounds than visuals. Visuals are pretty crap, and you can't really see much, so you have to rely on your hearing much more than anything else. There's no music, but the absence of this music does help with the tension and atmosphere of the game, which is really nice. But all the people are actually talking, not like the players, the actual people you're playing as. They actually talk to each other. Like, I can hear people yelling, go down left, and it's the actual player, it's the actual model, not the player. I'm like, oh, okay, go down that way, follow me, and oh shit, I've just been shot. What? I actually found myself so many times actually turning instinctively to these sounds, which is actually really cool. But I do have to admit, they do need to cut back on the fucks and the shits, I do have to say. Because everyone says it every 5 seconds, oh fuck, oh shit, all this nonsense. And I also do have to add that you can only hear people in earshot. So not everyone has magical radios like in Ballistic Overkill or Verdun even. Stuff like that. So I'd say 3 chairs for the shiny and the sounds. Mainly for the sounds.
Fuck shit, 2 chairs, fuck shit. Next up is the controls.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is a first-person shooter. This is what you got, man. It's Lost. It's a shooter. I did like that. What was it? Q&E. It tilted. I didn't have the problem finding where prone was, like Jordan did. But yeah, there's nothing here to report. They did that right. It's on the source engine. You're going to basically instinctively be able to figure out how everything works. Responsiveness, all that business, nothing to complain about. You click, it shoots. You reload, it reloads. You get shot once, you fucking fall over and die. That works really well in this version. So, yeah, man, nothing to complain about. So, I'd give it 4 chairs, but Jordan lied to me earlier, but I'm still going to give it 4 chairs.
I didn't lie. That was Foxy who said there's no 4 chairs in this thing. Don't try and shift your blame on me. There's already enough of that in this time period. Anyways, yeah, it's the first person shooter. It's one of these realistic ones. So it's all right click to bring up the iron sights, shift to run, WAS to move, control to crouch, although I usually like to switch up control and shift. Yeah, I didn't really figure that Z was the go completely prone button. And for a bunch of the classes, like for the heavy machine gunners, you need to set up a bipod, and by default, it only sets up the bipod on when you go prone. So I was wondering, why can't I brace? Why my bullets go all the way up to the sky? I'm not trying to kill a god yet. But you can go into the settings. You can change the bipod deployment to on crouch or on prone or both, which I ended up doing. But beyond that, works. You WAS to move. You point and click. It's pretty simple. 3 chairs.
Yeah, it's just your standard FPS affair, was, all that. But fuck me, there's like 20 odd commands you can use in this bloody game. Why 20? They're all separate keys. You can't do combination keys or, say, tap a key twice for it to actually work. Like, with Jordan, took forever for me to find the actual prone key. And going, hang on. I was in the middle of the match going, right, I'm going to look this up. Press escape, go into key bindings. Where the fuck's the prone? I'm looking through it. Got shot several times. Okay. Found it. Z. Okay, yeah, that's easy to get to. Very good. Because, like Jordan, I was being a machine gun. They said, use the middle mouse button to go set up your tripod thingy. Bipod thing, yeah. Set up that, except I was mercilessly bashing a wall. There, come on, got to make your controls a bit more simple. And in the options it says, enable controller. Yeah, that'd be great. If I could do anything more on the controller than just actually move. So, 2 chairs for the control because of the bloody complexity.
Oh, Foxy, did you ever end up seeing that thing where if you're sort of trying to set up in a corner, you will move even though you're not pressing any buttons because you're trying to like...
Yes.
Yeah, that got old real quick. Anyways, that's 3 chairs for controls. Let's put a bow on it. Ben, did you have Plun Fang Day of Infamy?
Oh, the Plun question mark 3 Zorbal Garth marbles in my mouth, man. Sorry, lads. But this is, and basically, if I'm being kind, a reskinned Insurgency. The previous game from these fine people. Day of Infamy does introduce something new and bizarre, however. Fast-paced action with kind of insta-kill weapons that doesn't exactly make for an authentic World War II simulation. You know, the only way I could remotely enjoy this business would be if it just had hella legit permadeath. You get noped, you gotta stay in the server or you lose points and you gotta watch and you don't respawn. And it's like, alright, I could get engaged. I could get involved in this, but it doesn't have it. No, I did try the matchmaking. Tried to learn the basics there, but that system is noted dog shit. I think everyone knows that. When you start and say, I want to play online, it's like, do you want to play in easy mode? And it's like, yes, I would like me some of that. Please, sir, give me a serving of that. What I was met with, well, I was met with a server filled with campers, bots, and players way above my pay grade and or rank. Well, it wasn't a good time by everyone. I even tried out a few of the different classes. Maybe I like the sniper, the machine gunner, the guy with the binoculars calling in airstrikes. But at the end of the day, take that shot. It failed to really bring anything new to the table, if I'm being perfectly honest with everyone. And it's a shooter, all right, that's a thing. But yeah, it's kind of hard to recommend something that kind of looks, definitely feels, and absolutely plays like a mod for Insurgency. So, I'm going to give you 1 chair for that. Maybe if this was DLC for Insurgency, maybe. I don't know. You didn't do a bad job, but there's just too many things wrong with what you got.
Yeah, realistic shooters don't really do it for me. I never really liked the iron sights that games of this ilk have, because that's not actually how guns work. If you've ever fired one, they're always at a weird angle. They're not like your nose becomes the barrel of the gun, and therefore you need to look and shoot. It's always really, really weird. I like my shooters more in the Quake-ish, Counter-Strike-esque vein. But anyways, there are a bunch of different modes in this game, and it's a little divergent from the go there, kill all the people in the room thing. But a lot of it does boil down to go there, wait for the little timer clock to indicate that you have captured the control point, move on and so forth. Sometimes there's some variation between how you respawn. Sometimes you just respawn at a assault point. Sometimes you need to actually retreat. But it all boils down to attempt to capture point, die, wait for respawn. I tried playing a bunch of the various classes. Any of the assault weapons guys, you get noped really, really quickly because the bots are better at aiming their fake guns than you. So they just nope you real quick, and like their snipers are god tier. It's almost like if you're playing with bots. I played one game with randos, realized that no, this is not my speed, and then just went back to playing with bots. Yeah, they are way better and more coordinated than you are. I feel that maybe if you were playing with some people over Skype and you could actually coordinate, this game would be pretty fun, or it could be fun anyways, but it doesn't really do it. The 2 classes I had real success with were the sniper, because I actually got some kills with that guy, and the flamethrower guy, who I would just run up and toast people, and it was pretty fun to watch a bunch of Germans scream while on fire. Sorry. Hey! Yeah, the game's alright. It's another one of these tactical, realistic World War II shooters that don't really do anything for me. It's alright. I just gotta give it 2 cheers. I can't quite give it 1 because I didn't hate it, but
yeah, I'm really in 2 minds about this game. Some moments can be really a lot of fun, really intense, but other times can be really shit and very fucking annoying. It really lacks polish and tightness. It just doesn't have that finesse that, say, the only other game I can really compare this to is Verdun. And Verdun has just nicer graphics and just plays better. But considering how these two were saying certainly Ven was saying it plays like a mod, it looks like a mod, that's because it was a mod for Insurgency. It was just a mod that was just released as a full game. Cash grab, maybe? Tried to pull a Team Fortress there, are we? But they've got the Australians in there, but no Tobruk. Where's our Tobruk map? That was a very pivotal battle of the war. Why don't we have that? But however, the Aussie representation in the game is still pretty good. Had a kind of a Mad Max effect there with the voice where it just sounded like an Australian actor being told to sound Australian. So, but it did get better as I got used to it, I suppose. But this is definitely find the camper the game. That's how you win these points. You just sit in the corner and go on. I've lost count of how many points I've captured by sitting in a corner with my thumb up my ass, just taking pot shots at anyone who dared walk in the door. I even won one game by lying down in the back of a truck not firing a single shot. Because they just could not find me. I was just laying there. It's just stupid. You just sit in a spot and just hope for the best. However, this is the first time in a very long time I've actually had to think laterally, like going in for the flank or using smoke in a legitimate way. Like most of these realistic shooters, you put smoke down, it's practically pointless and useless. However, it does have good use in this. I've captured many points like that, and many people have as well. it's not a game to go in full guns blazing. You just can't do that. You're going to get yourself shot and killed, and you're back at the point waiting for 3 odd minutes to come in. But this game also is cool for another reason, was the radio system, where you need a commander and a radio man to call in the strikes, not just one person saying, "Hey, point here," and suddenly it explodes. Now in this game, you hear the planes coming in, that very haunting sound of the planes diving in, then hearing the shots going across the field. It was actually many times I've gone, "Oh shit, I better duck inside," because I had no idea if it was ours or someone there. Or the other side, sorry. It was either was it mine or was it the Germans? I don't know. All the game modes are variations of capture the point. Like, come on, where's the actual score modes? Where's anything else? It's just go to a point, sit your fat ass down, and hope for the best. This just doesn't work that way. But the worst part of this game, the worst part I absolutely hate, is the map selection. At the end of every battle, they display all the maps, and everyone picks. However, everyone picks the same goddamn fucking map. I want to see these other maps. There's D-Day, there's the landing at Normandy, there's this train station thing. I never got to play these maps because everyone get either crate or this other stupid thing. Just don't know map selection, just random maps. If battle's finished, next map. Battle finishes, next map. Or at least narrow it down to 2. Like in like Doom or Unreal Tournament or something like that. Just narrow it down to a selection of 2, not the whole bloody thing. Because of this, everyone's got the same map, so everyone knows where everything is, everyone knows where all the hidey holes are, and you're just going to get annihilated because you don't know where they are, and everyone else knows. It just becomes very boring, very tedious, and just so goddamn fucking repetitive. I've lost count of how many times I've gone on the same fucking map and died in the same exact point. Even if I try to go around this point, I still die in another point at the same bloody time. It's just enough. So because of this map selection, if they didn't have this at all, and just a few other little niggly issues, like Jordan mentioned, the recoil is fucking stupid. Like, oh, what the fuck am I shooting at? I literally emptied an entire clip of the bloody machine gun down this fucking alleyway where there's 3 Germans there, and I didn't hit any one of them. Where the hell's my bullets going? And then I didn't hit these people.
They're going to Fairyland, Foxy.
Yeah, well, anyway, so it's just because of these niggly issues and the fucking map selection, I can only give it 2 chairs because it is fun times at time.
I'm sorry, I was just expecting you to go on for like another 15 minutes. Anyways, that's 1 chair for fun. Wrap it all up. We got 1 chair for Day of Infamy. All right, that's not right. Should be 2. Wait, no. Maybe my math is wrong. Someone will figure it out. Fix it in post. Final thoughts?
Did they give this game away at some point? Because it's got so many positive reviews, and you go online, which, there's not a single player campaign in this. I went online in North America during prime time on a weekend. 700 players. Decent, but not really exploding. So, I like the idea of objective stuff. Go there and you capture, but Foxy, you're 100% right on that business with, it's always somebody crouching in the corner of a kitchen upstairs. That's what you do. You go find the guy crouching, blow him away, then what do? You go find a spot and crouch. But that's basically the entire game.
Well, I would love to do this because I love these games. Like Verdun, I've put a lot of hours into this. And this, I've played like a couple hours and I've only seen 2 goddamn maps. Once I got the Day of landing at Normandy for about 5 minutes before the battle goddamn ended. So
I tried Normandy, but it crashed. So
and it actually and Normandy landing had a big grey bar around the background. For some reason, I thought, oh, we're in the middle of a storm. Anyway, it's unfair. It's unforgivable. It's just no. You're gonna and the fact that it's a mod. Come on, guys, put some effort in if you're going to release a game, please.
Yeah, again, realistic shooters don't really do it for me. This game has a lot of tiny issues compounded by the fact that it really you need some friends to even enjoy this. If you're playing with randos on the internet, you're not going to have fun. So, coming up next, we discuss why Eon ports are the best ports. Send your hate mail. Well, Pedro's not here to do it, so I gotta take up the reins. Welcome to the hate mail section, that part of the show where you get to send us mail and we read it on the air, and sometimes it says bad things and most of the time it doesn't, and that's kind of disappointing for us, because we love the hate, we bask in it, we revel in it, we like to get naked and rub it all on our hateful little bodies, like so much hate oil. But if you want to get in touch with us, you can head over to LinuxGameCast.com. There's a contact button. You can select the show you want to have your hate mail for on the drop down, fill out the forms, do some basic math. That's good. It's enough math to defeat computers, but not enough to defeat the human computers. And we'll read it on the air. And speaking of reading things on the air, this is from Egghead Dash. He's talking about The Witcher 3. He says, "This smells. Any truth to this? Why does anyone make excuses for bad ports?" So what he's talking about is there was a Reddit thread posted based on a Gaming on Linux article that was talking about the reason that The Witcher 3 did not come to Linux. They're saying, well, we got a lot of negative feedback from The Witcher 2, quote-unquote, port, and so we decided we didn't really want to deal with the Linux community. Which, if you don't want to support Linux, that's fine. But here's the thing. The Witcher 2 port was bogged with issues from day one. It wouldn't even launch on systems that had pre-link enabled. The performance was ass. There's the whole nightmare fuel with the Eon wrapper and people realizing, hey, we literally just paid. Well, in this case, it was on sale for $5 for most people. Picked it up for $5, but they expected a native port and they got what is essentially a glorified wine wrapper. And there are the Eon apologists and whatnot and so on. But because this was the first incident, people got really, really mad. Their jimmies got super, super rustled. There was quite a bit of feedback. Most of it negative. What do you think, guys? Does it pass the sniff test, Foxy?
Well, a lot of software developers are doing that because lately, CD Red and was it Activision or something, complaining saying we're not going to bring ports. Oh no, that's right. It was for Formula 1 2016. They weren't going to bring them in because of this poor response they got. Poor reviews for 2015, they're going, nah, we're not going to bother, because if you're not going to like our games, why bother porting it? And I think this is just cover saying, we just don't want to do it. We're just too lazy. We just don't care. So, but you do have to admit, that prior the first one, Witcher 2, was one of our best work, I have to admit. We went absolutely apeshit.
Strider, to your point, this is about virtual programming, because while it is about CD Projekt Red, these two things are sort of tied hand in hand. The reason why there's so much ill will towards CD Projekt Red in the Linux community, or whatever's left of the ill will, is a direct result of that Eon port.
It's definitely a thing, the way you got to look at it. This whole thing is based on a former virtual programming employee, so I should tell you something about that, saying that yeah, that's why we didn't get The Witcher 3 was because of the bad reception of the Witcher 2 port. And it was just busted. It was bad. It ran worse than the running Witcher 2 with wine. It did. There's no way around that. And it was kind of fun. You can find the guy responsible for, he's like, yeah, we were going to port The Witcher 1 and then The Witcher 3. Fortunately, I think we were saved from that. It's virtual programming, they've been cocking up Mac ports for a long time. This is not my words. You can just do a Google search for that and definitely find it. But the guy who said that, the former employee of virtual programming, no longer with the company, did ask. I was going to look it up. It's in the Linux_gaming, the thread. He's like, oh, yeah, well, why did they choose us to port it? Because we were like, virtual programming doesn't do that. Because, I mean, this was a shim port, if you want to call it that. He's like, well, why did they choose us? I'll tell you why. CD Projekt Red. And the fault is squarely on CD Projekt Red. Why did they choose VP? Because they're the lowest bidder. They're the one that can offer to do it the cheapest. And you get what you pay for in this business. And that's CD Projekt Red's fault. Now, I think they're a bit of an ass bender, not VP. Whatever. If VP had delivered an awesome port, everything ran, and yes, I know you at home, it launched immediately for you. You've never had any crashes with it, and it maintains 150 FERPs on your 486SX with a Hercules graphics card at UHD. I fully understand that. We're talking about the other rest of civilization that did not have this experience. But, yeah, CD Projekt Red didn't spend the money to do it right. There's other porting houses. There's Feral. There's Aspire. There's Ryan C. Gordon. There's Flibbity Jibbity Ibbity by Bo. The guy who did Shadow Warrior. The guy who did Rocket Cars. Have all delivered this, and they've done it right. This business, yeah. I don't blame virtual programming for this at all, but I kind of blame CD Projekt Red just for saying, hey, Witcher 3 is coming out. Hey, look, it's this. Here's the big list of games coming out for Linux on Steam, and Witcher 3 was definitely in there. And what I fault CD Projekt Red for is this: going radio silent. It would just been so much better if they would go, yeah, we're not going to do it. I'm like, cool, we're done. I don't, is that crazy?
No, it's not. And this whole people were hounding them, and we were getting sort of half answers and being ignored. It's not really good for communication. Fortunately, though, because there's that Aurora engine code reimplementation, we will eventually get a native port of Witcher 1 at some point in the far future. But up next, we got Paul talking about Hi! I think if the Steam controller API is very good, and you guys should point it out in your CHAIRQUISITION reviews if a game has native API support or not. Being able to bind buttons to in-game actions is extremely sexy, and I would definitely give a game 4 chairs for controls if it has API support. Yeah, except it uses SDL gamepad mappings for the most part. So if you support SDL, you kind of support the Steam controller as by default. And here's the thing. That would be all well and good if we were doing just Steambox and SteamOS reviews of games, but not everyone has a Steam controller, so...
Mm-hmm. Case in point, I don't have a Steamy controller, but then again, you don't always use the Steam controller to play the games. That's a beautiful thing about Linux or just PC gaming in general. You can plug your PS4 in there, you can plug your Xclone controller in there, and get it done like that. I tend to stick with the Xclone controller because, let's face it, a lot of things are mapped like that. Riddle me this, J-Baby. Like, once you launch big picture mode, can't you basically, no matter what controller you have, map anything to fucking all anything else?
Not specifically with like the Steam controller configuration tools. I think there's some big picture control configuration thing. I haven't really played around with it, so someone send us some hate mail, correct me. I'm gonna be entirely wrong on this. But yeah, I think you can to some degree. Not crazy like the Steam controller API. Foxy, do you have anything to add?
Well, I have a Steam controller and I don't like using it very much. I can get it to work sometimes, but I get more success with this PS4 controller than I do with any other controller. Even the 360 one that's way back there. This one works with pretty much anything I throw at it. So, I don't know. I prefer more of a general controller support rather than just Steam controller support. So, yeah. So I don't think basing it on...
They're sort of trying to amalgamate it, because you can configure Xbox and DualShock controllers using Steam Big Picture Mode and the Steam controller overlay. I haven't tried it recently, and it had some issues on launch, but according to Sandy, they all sort of work. Take that with a grain of Sandy salt.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. It's we can't, kind of saying testing it across the board because we don't also always play Steam games for a review. I mean, if we get a GOG game or something like that, it's definitely a thing. We all like it. The Steam controller, the Areola controller, it's a nice piece of kit. And glad you enjoy it, but I don't think it would be fair to everyone else if we threw that in as a metric to plus or minus a chair. Because we're all individual people. Oh. And
it's not even that either. It's some games just aren't well suited to the Steam controller. Like for most platformers and first-person shooters, it's fine. But if you're doing third-person over-the-top or strategy, it doesn't really work.
And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? On that bombshell, let's cue the music, because you can always find us around 9:30 Eastern Time. Just subscribe to our YouTube thing. This is the easiest way to do it. This is where we do it live. We do have video on demand and downloadable versions. HD, SD, MP3 audio, RSS thing. You can put us in your pussies on your podcatcher. It's kind of brilliant. Hit the get notified button, the bell thing on the YouTube if you want to keep track of that when we do. But if you want to scream at me, at Vinstone on the Twitters, plus Vinstone, G+, you just type that into Google or whatnot, and you will run across my face.
I'm Jordan Svung. You can find me plugging various things into my computer or myself and attempting to calibrate them through Steam Big Picture Mode at The Burning Fool on Twitter, plus Jordan Svung on Google+. And Strider, you're wrong. Third-person games with camera control on Steam controller. Jank! Foxy, tell him.
Jank it is. Unless if you don't have a stick like this, then like this little knobby bit here, fuck off. Now, I am Michael and Foxdog Fox. You will not find me on Twitter, but you'll find me at Michael and Foxdog Fox on the G+.
So, Frank, did we learn anything this week, my friend? I couldn't have said it better, Frank. Huh?
Seems legit.
Seems legit.
He praised, man. I think we broke Foxy. And now he's just turned into Gunther from Adventure Time.
And credits. All right, we made it through that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Foxy, you did a good job, considering that was your first time.
Yep.
No worries. Happy to be here. Well, it went a lot better than I was thinking it was going to go. And
oh no, I don't think it went that good. No, come on, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I was expecting you to just cut me off and go, no, you're not doing this anymore. Go away.
Oh, what's that will require effort on my part. I can do that tomorrow when I'm editing the show. I'm going to make you look like a hot slobbering mess. It's just going to cut you, and it's just going to be silent stare.
No, just replace all the Foxy bits with Vince McMahon.
Well, Mir only gave you 2 chairs, man.
Yeah, I know. So did Factor.
Oh, 5 dudes.